In his great poem about Pennsylvania, Rudyard Kipling wrote, "The things that truly last when men and times have passed, they're all in Pennsylvania this morning." Truer words were never written, for Pennsylvania has everything. Scenery, sports, recreation and fun out of doors, beautiful hotels and inns, cabins in state parks, mountain camps, everything that vacationists want, they're all in Pennsylvania. In the good old summertime, you can keep mighty cool in Pennsylvania and have a lot of fun too, swimming in pools, lakes, or even at the old swimming hole. The girls know how to dive, and they look good doing it. Beauty queens are chosen at laurel festivals, flaming foliage festivals, maple sugar festivals, and many others. You'll enjoy the swimming resorts along Lake Erie and at Conneaut Lake, Wallenpaupack, Canandaigua, Edinburgh, Igglesmere, and others, including Harvey's Lake, shown here. When you are tired swimming, well, there's canoeing. Or perhaps you like it better this way. If that is too tame, let a brisk wind send you sailing across a clear blue Pennsylvania lake. There's something for everyone. Badminton, tennis, some of the finest golf courses in all the world await you in Pennsylvania. No matter what your game is, it's here for you to enjoy. The wild and woolly West has nothing on Pennsylvania when it comes to riding the trail. Parks are laid out with beautiful bridle paths, and a dude ranch offers rugged country if you prefer. You will enjoy the many horse shows held annually. The Appalachian Trail crosses Pennsylvania. We have the Horseshoe Trail, and hiking is perfect in the Pocono Mountains, Sullivan Highlands, and throughout the Alleghenies. You'll find 5,000 miles of good hiking trails in our state forests. State parks have fireplaces and picnic tables, and many hotels provide dinners cooked in mountains and woods. If you are interested in caves, then Pennsylvania is just the place for your holiday. You can spend all summer exploring our caves, for we have over 130. Guided tours are conducted in a dozen of them. The colorful, oddly shaped formations will astound you. Everybody loves a parade. And everybody goes to the fair. In early autumn, Pennsylvania is the most colorful spot in America. A trip through our mountains in October is just like going with Alice to Wonderland. You will never believe it until you see it for yourself. Autumn ushers in the hunting season, a sport so popular in Pennsylvania that 1 million Nimrods go afield each year for big game, bear and deer, and small game, like this grouse. And for wild ducks and geese in colorful marshes, bays, and lakes. Folks never leave Pennsylvania to escape winter. They come to Pennsylvania to enjoy it. More and more, winter after winter, Pennsylvania is recognized as one of the truly great winter sports areas in the East. Throughout the state, more and better ski slopes have been built, until now the Keystone State is a mecca for out-of-state vacationists who are not as fortunate in their own areas. Skiing is just one of the many winter sports that you will love in Pennsylvania. Sleigh rides, toboggan slopes, ice skating, ice boating, ice fishing. You'll find thrills aplenty. winter starts to melt away. Slowly at first, until spring freshlets fill our streams and waterfalls cascade in wild beauty. Look now for skunk cabbages in the marshes. Look too for scarlet cups on the forest floor. During the thaws of late winter and early spring, Pennsylvania farmers are tending the sugar bush. This is a time of inspiration for poets, painters, and photographers as sap pushes upward in sugar maple trees. To a great many sportsmen, spring means just one thing: trout fishing time. In the summer, the bass fisherman has his season too. The Fish Commission stocks hundreds of tons of fish in our streams every year. Here's a native Pennsylvanian, the brook trout. We have 3 species of trout in our streams. This angler has just hooked a big brownie, a fighter too. But he is soon tamed and brought into the net. Here's the third, the rainbow, a game fighter and a colorful fish. Even the kids bring in whoppers in Pennsylvania. And always, when you fish in the Keystone State, there is beauty all around you. These anglers are catching black bass. April showers bring spring flowers. Who would want to miss this annual show? Now, a piece of advice. Always bring your camera when you come to Pennsylvania. And bring your field glasses, too. There is so much to see on a sylvan holiday. In early spring, you'll watch for bluebirds. You will see them on the fence posts as you drive through rich farm country. You will hear their soft warbling notes, and you'll find them nesting in hollow trees or in bird boxes. While you are driving along, don't be surprised to find Mrs. Flicker drilling her own nesting cavity in one of the roadside poles. You will need sharp eyes to catch Mrs. Killdeer sitting on her 4 eggs, but you'll hear her calling her name. The gaudy colors of many of our birds will amaze you. Birds like the Baltimore oriole look like brilliant jewels from a tropical jungle, yet orioles build their hanging nests in roadside trees in every nook and corner of Penn's woods. Let's look in on Mr. and Mrs. Bleeding Heart, the rose-breasted grosbeaks. Good husband that he is, Mr. Grosbeak kisses his wife when he arrives home. He has a mouthful of bugs and beetles for his youngsters, so he serves lunch to the little ones. Then, before he leaves home, what does he do? He kisses Mrs. Grosbeak goodbye. Let's put the spotlight on that fellow. He does something that most male birds never do. He helps Mrs. Grosbeak incubate the eggs, takes his turn sitting on them. And isn't he a handsome fellow? No wonder he sticks out his chest like this. Look at that cedar waxwing's swollen throat. It is filled with cherries and berries. Watch him cough them up one at a time and stuff them into the mouths of the youngsters. How do you like that new Pennsylvania hairdo? The jumping pompadour. Here is everybody's favorite, the cardinal redbird. You will hear him early in the spring and early in the morning, too, giving his loud, clear whistle. Like most Pennsylvanians, he likes it so well at home, he never migrates south in the winter. It is May when Pennsylvania apple orchards blossom and spread their perfume across the landscape. They look white at a distance, We see the delicate pink shades as we move in close. In farm country, we find bunny rabbits. One little bunny and one little bunny, that's two. But that's addition. Rabbits don't add, they multiply. And when they multiply, often they have one to carry. That makes 5 little rabbits. Mother opossum figures it's cheaper by the dozen. If she has to give one little opossum a bath, she might as well bathe 12 of them. Then she hangs them out to dry like this. Mother opossum carries her young in a pouch, like kangaroos. Little opossums have prehensile tails for holding on and riding on mother's back. Speaking of cheaper by the dozen, here is a remarkable den of foxes. Most red foxes have 5, 6, or possibly 7 young. But in Pennsylvania, where remarkable things are not at all uncommon, here is a den in which 12 fox puppies made their home. How it happened is still a mystery. Is its marsh country, a land of waving cattails, a land of brilliant cardinal flowers, and of drowsy, droning dragonflies. Let's visit the #1 citizen of this marsh country, the aquatic engineer of the wild, the beaver. His pride and joy is his dam. He builds that dam in order to create a pond in which he and his family make their home. Often he builds 2 or more auxiliary dams. The sticks are laid lengthwise, not crosswise, where they might be washed out. His lodge is his home. All openings are on the bottom where they would be free of ice in the winter. This is a spot for your blind, where you may watch beavers at close range or take pictures of them. Pictures like these to show your friends. Visitors to Pennsylvania today find beavers living in all parts of the state. It was not always so. Indeed, in 1850, Pennsylvania's most valuable fur-bearing animal was extinct in the Commonwealth, trapped out. In 1915, as an experiment, the Game Commission stocked a few pairs of beavers in our streams. The experiment worked. They bought a few more pairs and released them. By 1934, there were so many beavers in our state that trapping was permitted again. Since then, we have harvested thousands of beavers in Pennsylvania, and there are still thousands left. Kipling must have meant beavers, too, when he said that the things that truly last, when men and times have passed, they're all in Pennsylvania this morning. You can't be around beavers very long before you realize that the ponds which they build for their own use make wonderful homes for other forms of wildlife. These dead trees are just right for hole-nesting birds, like the big pileated woodpecker. Having trouble feeding Junior? That's a little rough on Junior, but it works. Mrs. Brown Creeper was different. She built her nest under a piece of loose bark. The wood duck is the Beau Brummel of the beaver pond. Mrs. Wood Duck lays her eggs in a hollow tree, sometimes 20 to 30 feet from the water. The little ones have to jump to get down. Mrs. Woody is rather plain, but Mr. Woody is a beauty. Blue-winged teal nest here too, not in trees, but on the ground near the edges of the beaver pond. The black duck is a common nester, not very pretty, but hunters like him. He's big, fast, and delicious. Finally, among the common nesting ducks of the beaver pond is the mallard, the greenhead. These are bachelors. In the duck family, Mrs. Duck does all the work. The boys just have fun all summer long. In the spring and fall, migrating ducks find aquatic food plentiful in our state. Like human travelers, they like to stop in Pennsylvania, where the food is always good. Ducks like the bald pate. It nests in northern Canada, but it likes to visit Pennsylvania's marshes and lakes. And the shoveler, too. It gets its name from the shape of its bill. Pintails, graceful ducks that ride high on the water. Smallest and fastest of all, the green-winged teal, a regular visitor. We have both bluebills, the lesser and greater scaup. And that champion diver, the redhead. We leave the marshes far behind when we visit Valley Forge in mid-May. Every spring, hundreds of thousands of persons come here to view one of the greatest flower displays in all the world. 50,000 dogwood trees in blossom at one time. Bring your camera to Valley Forge. You'll want pictures like this. Nearly 1 million persons have come to Valley Forge in one season to see the dogwoods. You'll understand why when you stand breathless in the middle of a fairyland of pink and white. Flower lovers will find much to interest them in Pennsylvania, like Indian pinks, fire pinks. Mayapples spread their umbrella-like leaves along sylvan trails. Hepatica is a true harbinger of spring. Wild columbine blooms to attract the hummingbirds. The artist's dream of perfection, units of 3, the white trillium, and the red one, the wake robin. Quaker ladies spread carpets of blue across our meadows, while in the marshes, the carpet is yellow as cowslips. Marsh marigolds replace the skunk cabbages. Let's visit the Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. For many years, hunters came to the Blue Mountains of central Pennsylvania to slaughter the hawks that flew south over this lookout. Now, this is a sanctuary where people enjoy the hawks instead of killing them. The curator of the sanctuary and his wife live in this old Dutch house at the top of the mountain, guarding the refuge. Through this gate, visitors pass to reach the lookout on Hawk Mountain. It's a pleasant walk, less than a mile. Little signs brighten the way. This one tells us that our state flower is the mountain laurel. Fortunate indeed are the visitors to Pennsylvania in June when our state flower is in full bloom. It grows in many places, mountainsides, pastures, along woodland roads and creeks. The same sign names our state tree, the hemlock. While we have less hemlock today than when William Penn arrived here, we still have vast forests of this beautiful tree. Finally, the sign names our state bird. What a magnificent creature it is, the ruff grouse. It is called a partridge in the north. Sometimes it is called a pheasant, but partridge is a better name. Notice how well camouflaged it is against a background of dead leaves. We hunt grouse in Pennsylvania in the fall, but they are wary and alert. A real game bird. Thousands of persons from all over the United States come to the lookout each fall to watch the hawks sailing south. People from all walks of life find a common bond on Hawk Mountain. One of the first hawks to cross Pennsylvania in the fall is the osprey. Those who know this bird as the fish hawk of the Atlantic coast wonder why it chooses central Pennsylvania for its migration route. The answer is the favorable air currents which permit the birds to set their wings and drift south for miles and miles without effort. Sometimes the speed of birds is clocked. A watcher on knob number 2 sights a bald eagle coming into the marked course. The stopwatch is set, and by portable telephone, another watcher is contacted at the lookout. He is advised of the eagle's approach. From knob number 2, the eagle is clocked as it sails south. This is our national bird. The watcher waits tensely at the lookout as he follows the bird's course. About 100 American eagles are checked each fall at the Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. The eagle passes overhead, the watch is stopped, time 40 miles an hour. Sparrowhawks move south over these mountains too, but these baby sparrowhawks never flew over Hawk Mountain. They were hatched in a nail keg attached to a telegraph pole along a Pennsylvania highway. Turkey vultures, buzzards fly over Hawk Mountain, but they are not counted until October. Vultures nest there, and during September you cannot tell the home team from the visitors. By October, all are on the wing. One of the most valuable of all our hawks, the red-tailed, is a common migrant over Hawk Mountain. 6,500 red-tails have been counted in one season, and in one day, over 1,000 passed the lookout. Watch the slow-motion camera catch the wink. Civilization is always encroaching on our wilderness. Forests make way for progress. This is the world-famous Horseshoe Curve near Altoona. We have about 99,000 miles of modern, improved highways in Pennsylvania. And we have more than 374 airports, most of them modern and improved. If you prefer this form of transportation, we have the facilities. There are a score of seaplane bases, too. Yet we have great wilderness areas like the Grand Canyon country of north-central Pennsylvania and many others throughout the Alleghenies. Hardly more than 1 hour's drive from downtown Pittsburgh is the Slippery Rock Gorge, wild, rugged country. If this redhead on the top of Bald Eagle Mountain has glasses powerful enough to see into that great forest, she will find some mighty interesting things. Things like this pincushion, the porcupine. He's a dull-witted fellow, but if you had 20,000 sharp quills, you wouldn't need to be so sharp-witted either. That's what he has. And it takes about 5,000 of them to weigh 1 ounce. Some folks think that Porky can throw those quills like arrows. He cannot, but the way he thrashes that tail around, it may look as though it were throwing them. In the winter, a porcupine will climb a tree and stay up there for a week or two without coming down. It feeds on the inner bark. Sometimes it kills a tree. Foresters don't like porcupines, but they certainly belong in Penn's woods. Ever see a grouse drum? Watch. Come to Pennsylvania and get the thrill of your life watching this wonderful performance. This is his love song, which he sings with rapidly beating wings. In slow motion, you see that the wings never touch the log. The drumming sound is made by fanning the air. Sounds like an old motor warming up on a cold morning. We have more wild turkeys in Pennsylvania today than we have had for many years, thanks to a propagating program of the Pennsylvania Game Commission. When an old hen has a nest nearby, you can approach her for pictures like this. Coon hunts and coon dog trials are big sporting events in the Keystone State. And we have lots of raccoons, too. They are protected, but are hunted under liberal regulations. Many a Pennsylvania camper has awakened at night to find a big old coon raiding his garbage can. There's an old saying that every dog has his day. But we don't have any dogs in Pennsylvania that have a day like this fellow. Groundhog Day, February 2nd. In Punxsutawney and Quarryville, that day ranks with the 4th of July and New Year's. Of all the animals that hibernate in our state, he is the hibernatingest of them all. He stays underground all winter long. But when you come to Pennsylvania in the spring or summer, you'll find a woodchuck or two in every clover field. Deep in a Pennsylvania woodland, you will find hooded warblers. We have little birds like this, and great big fierce birds like this horned owl. He's a wise one, aren't you? And here is Pennsylvania's #1 game animal, the white-tailed deer. This 8-point buck is in the velvet. That's what the hunters say when that substance covers the antlers in late summer, the substance this buck will rub off later against the tree trunks. Nowhere in America will you find more white-tailed or Virginia deer than in the Keystone State. They're wild, all right, but with a little patience and planning, you will get the picture you want. If you are lucky, perhaps you too will catch an old doe at sunrise, eating her breakfast. Nervous? You bet she is. She hears the camera in the blind 50 yards away, but she can't see it. Finally, she gives up trying to eat. She runs a few paces and turns to the forest. Watch her stomp that front foot. Again. Something worrying her? Of course, a fawn. Bambi is born in May. He carries his spots all summer. That means danger in deer language. Now watch this fawn get up. Remind you of another animal? Of course. That's the way a cow gets up. But that is not surprising. Deer are related to cows, and sheep, horses, and oxen. They are all hoofed animals. This is just another of the many pictures you will take and the many wildlife thrills you will find when you come to Pennsylvania. Stay at gay resorts or live in quiet cabins in the woods. And it doesn't matter when you come. There are adventures awaiting you in every season. Come in the winter and enjoy crisp days in the open with snow spreading a blanket of white over the hills. Spring is breathtaking. Everything is awake and pulsing with life, beauty, color. Summer's happy days find all of nature in full bloom. The world's largest canvas, splashed with the world's most brilliant colors. That's Pennsylvania in autumn. Don't miss a day of it. Come to Pennsylvania anytime, for Pennsylvania has everything.
In the big city, a little boy feels very small. Tommy's playground is in the streets. It is crowded in the summertime. He lives here, but his thoughts are far away. He is hoping for the day when he may go away to the country. Now, Tommy knows that there are kind people who arrange vacations for boys and girls like himself. So he wrote a letter to them. This is what he said. Dear friends, I have never been to the country and I would like very much to go. In school, my teacher taught us all about the different kinds of trees. I want to see if I can name them. I want to eat all of the delicious things that grow in the country. I want to see how they milk the cows. I want to go exploring all by myself. I want to go swimming in a place where a fellow can have lots of room to splash around. I would like to see all the animals, pigs and chickens and sheep and everything. And then, one wonderful day, Tommy receives an answer. The letter says, Dear Tommy, we have arranged for you to go to the McDonald farm. It has a big river and a small pond.
Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
In the country, there are so many things to see and smell and hear and touch. The daisies look up and say, Hello. All the flowers welcome Tommy. The beautiful rose of Sharon, the delicate cosmos, and the perky black-eyed Susans. Going fishing doesn't mean that you're going to catch anything. The fish are probably hiding under the water lilies. Oh well, there are many other things to do on the McDonald farm.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some cows, E-I-E-I-O. With a moo-moo here, a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some sheep, E-I-E-I-O. With a baa-baa here, a baa-baa there, here a baa, there a baa, everywhere a baa-baa. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some pigs, E-I-E-I-O.
With an oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some geese, E-I-E-I-O. With a honk honk here, a honk honk there, here a honk, there a honk, everywhere a honk honk. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-I-O. With a quack quack here and a quack quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some chicks, E-I-E-I-O.
With a chick chick here, a chick chick there, buck 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 buck.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some birds, E-I-E-I-O. With a tweet tweet here, a tweet tweet there, here a tweet, there a tweet, everywhere a tweet tweet. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some bees, E-I-E-I-O. With a buzz buzz here, a buzz buzz there, here a buzz, there a buzz, everywhere a buzz buzz. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. With a moo moo here, a moo moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo moo, a bye bye here, a bye bye there, here a bye, there a bye, everywhere bye bye.
Oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink.
Honk honk here, a honk honk there, here a honk, there a honk, everywhere a honk honk, a quack quack here, a quack quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere quack quack.
Chick chick here, a chick chick there. Buck, 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 buck.
A tweet tweet here, a tweet tweet there, here a tweet, there a tweet, everywhere tweet tweet, a buzz buzz here, a buzz buzz there, here a buzz, there a buzz, everywhere a buzz buzz. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
How does that clover taste, Tommy? Sweet, huh? Grasshoppers are great jumpers. Hello, Mr. Toad. I won't hurt you. I know you're a toad because you have such a big chest, and your skin is rough, tougher than a frog's, and full of warts. How's it taste, Tommy? Mmm, cold. That's a pine tree. These thin ones are birches. The Indians used to make canoes out of their white bark. That great big tree is an oak. I know it by the shape of the leaf. This leaf is from a maple tree. Is there anything more delicious than a ripe, juicy peach? Ask Tommy, how's it taste? Mmm. And all kinds of apples. Tommy likes the red Macintosh best. The old weeping willow reminds Tommy what his book said about how new topsoil is made. The leaves and twigs, the flowers and vegetables, everything that grows falls to the ground and slowly turns into good earth. Even the old trees crumble. It smells good, too. How's that taste, Tommy? Nah, I know you wouldn't eat that. Loosening the earth makes it easier for nature to bring air and water to the roots. The worms and other insects do their share by digging tunnels and help in other ways, too. The birds eat some of the worms, so there won't be too many of them. Feeding a baby bird takes plenty of time. Tommy's reward for his work is a good crop. Cabbage and squash, corn and peas, beans and tomatoes, and lots of good things. The river is not far away, and at the end of the day, there is nothing more refreshing than a cool dip. You had better come in too, Tommy, if you want some of that fresh milk. How's it taste, Kitty? Mmm. Good. You've done all the things you wanted to do, Tommy. What are you going to wish for now? Whatever it is that's in the heart of a boy, may all your dreams come true.
Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
The big day is here for Michael. He's finally off to school. And now, another new partnership between parent and teacher has begun. Both parent and teacher have a common goal, a mutual interest in helping Michael learn and grow. Teacher, take him by the hand along the path of learning grand. He's full of trust and wants to do all the things you want him to. Over the rough spots, be firm but fair, and count on me to do my share. So take his hand, but let me know how I can help my child to grow. Yes, Mother wants to help, and it's well that she should too, for even under ordinary conditions, school is no small undertaking for our youngsters. Schools are not the same today as when Mother was a pupil. They cannot afford to be. With man's rapidly increasing knowledge in science and technology, it is nearly impossible for the secondary school to keep abreast. As a result, the elementary school must begin to lay a foundation in areas previously considered for secondary education only. Today's elementary school youngster is informed concerning the changes in current events and world affairs. Along with the need for better understanding of foreign peoples and countries, many elementary pupils are beginning the study of foreign languages. In addition, science, music, and library research skills are becoming a familiar part of the elementary school program. So what can parents do to help their children? Well, teachers tell us that many things can be done. In the remainder of this film, we will attempt to point out some important principles and suggestions for parents. Let us take a look at the Johnson family to see how some of these ideas might be carried out. Here the Johnson family is getting ready for their regular family outing. This time, whether it be to the farm, the airport, or the cave, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are giving their children something far more than a good time. They are giving Louise and Tyrone a broad background of experiences. A silo, a cockpit, or a stalagmite becomes something more than an odd-sounding word to these children, for they have seen and examined at first hand many of the things which occur in their daily school studies. This is particularly necessary for children of elementary school age. Real experiences, real people, and real objects make words meaningful for youngsters. Without this type of background, words oftentimes become pure nonsense sounds, hard to learn and nearly impossible to remember. So the Johnsons are not only sharing the joys of being with their children, but in a very real sense they are laying the foundation for much help in reading, in vocabulary, in spelling, and many other areas of the school curriculum. The broader the variety of experiences which you give your child, the more you will be helping him. The experiences which you share with him can be as simple as a walk through the nearest woods involving little or no expense. Are there learning experiences available in your own community which your child has only heard about? The local airport, perhaps. Your school will attempt to give your child a few of these experiences, but here is an area where parents have unlimited opportunity. Tyrone will long remember both the fun he had with the family at the cave, as well as the first-hand knowledge which he is gaining during this experience. Here we are looking in on the classroom situation where we find Tyrone eager to respond. It is quite evident that the terms being used by his teacher have real and vivid meaning for him. Contrary to what sometimes appears to be the case, children really want to learn. They are naturally curious. They want to know about living things, plants, animals, machines, things that go, and for that matter, nearly all objects within their environment. In fact, intense curiosity is a strong indicator of high intelligence. Parents must learn to recognize this natural curiosity and do all that they can to encourage it. Difficult as it is at times, parents must be on guard not to squelch this curiosity. Isn't Tyrone's difficulty in this scene really a result of his curiosity? Set a good example for your child. The old maxim about do as I say, don't do as I do may sound good, but in reality, it is a poor slogan for parents. Children surely will imitate their parents. Discussing articles or books in the home is another good way to encourage your child to read. These scenes show clearly how children imitate their parents in all phases of family activity. Teachers are not surprised in the least when parents who rarely, if ever, pick up a book complain that their children will not read at home. You will indeed help your child if you will set a good example, particularly in your reading and speaking habits. See that your child has sufficient sleep. He He should have a clean, comfortable bed by himself if possible. In addition, he should establish a pattern of going to bed at a specific time. Be firm about the hour and do not allow the established time to become a matter for argument. A quiet period with a book or conversation with parents is desirable immediately prior to bedtime. Horror films, westerns, and other highly emotional television dramas are completely out of order before going to sleep. However, there are many desirable television programs for children, which are not only entertaining, but have a high educational value. Parents should not pressure children concerning television viewing, but should help them to develop a discriminating taste by discussing the program with them. Teachers tell us that scenes such as the next one occur ever too frequently at school. Even if the child does not fall completely asleep, test results show that he will be incapable of doing his best work. Generally speaking, the elementary school youngster should have a minimum of 10 hours of sleep, depending on the age and the individual child. Your child's attitudes are extremely important to his success in school. If you show disrespect for your child's teacher, it is more than likely that he will do the same. Parents are urged to visit schools and to discuss in a friendly manner matters such as grades, homework, and the like. Criticizing methods and school procedures in the presence of your child will only tend to give him a negative attitude. Constructive criticism and suggestions are welcomed by teachers and administrators. Give your child a quiet place especially designed for study. Adequate light, reference books, and writing material should be readily accessible. Distractions such as Tyrone faces here, pets, small children, television, and so on make studying difficult if not impossible. A regular time for homework is also advisable. After a hard day at the office, father wants to read his newspaper, and of course mother has her dishes to do. It is in fact a busy, busy world. Nevertheless, parents must take some time each day to show an interest in their child's work. Children want and need this interest. We are not suggesting that parents become pals. On the contrary, we are suggesting that parents give the child the basic security she needs by fulfilling the role as parent. And further, parents should give the child an opportunity to talk, to make known her feelings, even if it is just for a few minutes and your interest is genuine. This is time well spent. As a final suggestion, we recommend taking advantage of the kindergarten program if your school is fortunate enough to have such. Many parents consider the kindergarten simply as a place where children go to play. Now, children do play here. The kindergarten program, however, is far more than this. Under the watchful eyes of a professionally trained teacher, youngsters move through a gradation of learning experiences. The film has shown that parents can do many things to help youngsters in the elementary school. Much of this help should begin even before the child enters kindergarten or first grade. We suggest a broad background of experiences which will help your child through his entire school career. The film pointed out that a child's attitudes are of great importance toward his success. To a large extent, your child's attitudes will reflect many of the things which you say and do. The film showed also that parents must be on guard against too strongly curbing the natural curiosity of children, and that by sharing a little of their time, they might encourage this curiosity. Generally speaking, any help in subject matter areas should be given only after consulting with your child's teacher. In addition, parents should arrange for a conference with the elementary school principal. Too often, parents look on the principal solely as the person to be contacted in disciplinary cases. The principal is an experienced, professionally trained individual with the responsibility of your child's overall education. Don't overlook this assistance. Finally, we encourage you to discuss other ways you might help your child with your own school staff.
Report on the 43rd National Automobile Show and its Wheels of Freedom. Wheels of Freedom. That's the theme of the National Automobile Show as it makes its eventful appearance in Detroit for the first time in a 9-day run from October 15th through October 23rd. Let's travel with these Wheels of Freedom into the future. October 1960. A wealth of civic activities starts to build interest in the show. Educational institutions, cultural centers, industry, all tying in with activities to commemorate the coming automobile show. October 12th, 8:30 p.m. in Ford Auditorium, before an invited audience, Paul Paré conducts the Detroit Symphony Orchestra in a concert featuring the world premiere of the Festival Overture, a specially commissioned work by Nikolai Lopatnikov, the distinguished director of Carnegie Tech's School of Music. The work dedicated to the entire automobile industry of the United States and its Wheels of Freedom. The next day, Thursday, the dedication of Cobo Hall. A mass choral group of 500 singers salutes the completion of this magnificent civic achievement with its 30 acres of floor space and a main hall that is larger than 8 football fields. Proud Detroiters watch with satisfaction as the ribbon is cut for this $54 million edifice, a structure that provides the city with the largest and finest exhibition and convention facilities in the world. In the evening, a gala dedication ball. The mayor acts as host to city, county, and state officials, civic organizations, nationality groups, service clubs, individual donors. All join in capping the biggest celebration of its kind ever held in Detroit. Friday, October 14th, a preview of the show. Cobo Hall opens to industry executives as well as hundreds of correspondents from every part of the country, from all possible media. These men will report to the nation the news of Wheels of Freedom. Saturday, October 15th, opening day. The morning starts with the big parade sponsored by the Detroit Automobile Dealers Association. Marching bands, spectacular floats, schools showing their colors, clubs and organizations, department stores, business and industries, all part of the big parade marching down Woodward Avenue to Cobo Hall and the biggest auto show of all. At 12 noon, the doors open and the public meets all that's new for 61. More than 200,000 square feet of cars and trucks on display. That's 40% more square feet of exhibit space for cars and trucks than in 1956, plus 1,750 more parking spaces, 22 more administrative rooms, and 104,000 square feet of the entire river-level exhibition area devoted to an exciting industry first. In the main hall, there are more than a score of exhibits. All the new automobiles, a comprehensive display of trucks, more cars and trucks under one roof than ever before. Individual exhibits are as large as 15,000 feet. The design of the hall provides for free-flowing movement of the crowds. Each exhibit receives maximum attention. The decor of the hall is designed and executed by George P. Johnson. Each bay of the hall is attractively keyed to a different color. And standing next to the stage, the 102-foot Wheels of Freedom symbol. On this 350-foot stage, a 750-foot conveyor, surrounded by multicolored fountains, plants, and pools, continuously moves cars of every line before the crowds at Cobo Hall. Each car gives the impression of floating on water. This mammoth carousel of cars makes an elegant showcase for 61's finest. Indeed, the public will see the most impressive display of automotive vehicles ever assembled anywhere, anytime. Now moving down to the 2.5 acres of Cobo Hall's river-level exhibition area, a great industry first. Auto Wonderland. Through a succession of exciting exhibits selected and coordinated by a committee of 150 members of the Society of Automotive Engineers, working together with AMA, Auto Wonderland dramatizes how the motor industry and its suppliers provide Americans with their wheels of freedom. Auto Wonderland is divided into 5 sections. First, the public sees exhibits devoted to the arts and sciences of automobile manufacturing. A styling studio, complete with artists and clay modeling. Then engineering design, laboratory work, testing, and pure research. There's a miniature 12 by 30-foot animated assembly plant and the story of tooling. Exhibits on rubber, steel, aluminum, to name a few, show how the material suppliers play their vital part in the making of automobiles. Succeeding displays of components, brakes, wheels, hubs, and drums, suspension systems, steering gear equipment, all provide the public with an intensive view of what it takes to make their cars. Coming to the next area, displays of special vehicles and their use. Special highway vehicles, military vehicles, off-the-road vehicles. An interesting view of the many and varied jobs performed by motor vehicles and the significant role of highway transportation in America today. The 5th and last area is devoted to related activities: road building, defense work, driver training, safety, highway travel, and finance. In summary, Auto Wonderland is designed to bring a clear concept of the automotive industry to the public, as well as being another crowd-pleasing attraction at the 43rd National Automobile Show. Now, let's move back into the main hall and onto its stage. An overture is sounded. It's the musical show at the Auto Show. Titled, that's right, Wheels of Freedom, an original musical scheduled for 4 shows a day. It stars Julius LaRosa, the June Taylor Dancers, the Ray Charles Singers, Neil Hefti, and his 16-piece orchestra. Neil Hefti has also written the original music for the show. His past musical compositions have been recorded by such talents as the McGuire Sisters, Ella Fitzgerald, Harry James. Bill Gammie, the show's lyricist, regularly devotes his talent to such stars as Andy Griffith and Pat Boone. Arthur Knorr, the director of the 56 Auto Show, has once again knitted all these talents together to put forth a show that sings and dances with the fun of motoring and the great American desire for car ownership. Here's still another attraction, a daily fashion show at the Auto Show, featuring top-name designers in the women's fashion field. The 43rd National Automobile Show also features a series of special days, one for automotive old-timers, one for engineers. There's a Ladies' Day and a day for international visitors. There are days for students and educators and a day for city-county employees and the safety patrol. And all will be taking advantage of a ticket policy designed to keep pulling in the crowds. Next, the traditional National Automobile Show banquet in Cobo Hall's vast ballroom. It's Monday night, October 17th. The guest list is 2,800 names long. the biggest banquet ever held in Detroit. Invited are leading members of the automotive industry, the nation's leading editors and publishers, the financial leaders of America, college presidents, leaders of the institutions devoted to highway development and safety. Traditionally, the main speaker at this event is a man of national prominence. You may be assured this year's speaker will definitely be of the highest caliber in the best tradition of the occasion. Now, let's travel back in time for a moment. This is the first National Automobile Show in 1900. Out of the multiple purposes of every show since then, two purposes have crystallized and have become dominant. One, to draw crowds to the show itself, this year through the brand new doors of Cobo Hall. Two, to focus the attention of the entire nation on the automotive industry and highway transportation. Keeping the crowds pouring into the show, that's the job of advertising and promotion. See it all at Cobo Hall, the biggest auto show of all. The slogan sounded in all the advertising, created by Cunningham and Walsh. Newspaper ads feature every major attraction the show offers the public. See all the new cars. See Auto Wonderland. See the musical stage show. And see Cobo Hall. These ads are geared for results at the box office, as are the radio commercials, the television commercials, counter cards, outdoor posters, stuffers, billboard snipes, postal meters, all and everything telling the public in a 200-mile radius of Detroit to see it all at Cobo Hall, the biggest auto show of all. Now for the second big job, focusing a national spotlight on the show and the automotive industry. Here's where publicity and exploitation go to work. Already, corporations across the country have been tied into the event. Scores of these companies have agreed to reinforce the message of the National Automobile Show many times over. Their newspaper, magazine, outdoor advertising will display the auto show news. Their radio and television stars will talk about it on their programs. National magazines, virtually everyone has already been contacted. Life, Look, Saturday Evening Post, This Week, these and scores of others will be devoting major editorial space to the automotive industry during the month of October. The estimated circulation of all these magazines, close to 100 million people. Newspapers, from one end of the nation to the other and back again, hundreds of dailies will be devoting thousands upon thousands of column inches to front-page stories, special supplements, picture spreads, all about the auto show and the automobile industry, its newest developments, its continuing research, its major place in the country's economy. Sunday night, October 16th, from 6 to 7 p.m., CBS on Coast to Coast Hookup features a nationwide television report on the auto show direct from Cobo Hall. Covering this event will be such noted commentators as Douglas Edwards, Charles Collingwood, and Jim McKay. This show is estimated to reach as many as 15 million television homes, as many as 31 million people. Everywhere across the nation, on television, radio, in newspapers and magazines, people will be receiving the news of the biggest auto show of all, the 43rd National Automobile Show and its Wheels of Freedom.
Wheels of freedom, wheels of freedom, wheels of the nation on the move. Wheels of freedom, wheels of freedom, wheels of the people who can prove that all those wheels of freedom give us the freedom of freedom, the finest ever seen. Come and go and rain and snow and wheels to keep us all a-growing, that's what the wheels of freedom mean. Wheels of freedom, make us the nation that we are. Wheels of freedom, make us the greatest land by far, you know it. Wheels of freedom, wheels of the great American car. Wheels that take us off the pole and wheels that keep our trucks rolling, that's what the wheels of freedom are.
We welcome you to this film showing. This title frame is provided in order to give the projectionist an opportunity to make his adjustments, to focus the picture, and set the sound tone and volume for best viewing comfort and clarity. And now, in just a moment, the film will begin. We sincerely hope that its message may become vital to you, and to that end, we dedicate it. My story concerns this old Chevrolet. How old? Well, if you must be exact, it's a 1939 model. It has running boards, rounded fenders, and a gear shift that comes out of the floor. In the rear is a tiny window and a bulging trunk, and tail lights that look like red silver dollars. It's a good solid car, mind you, made of real steel, and it has lots of character. Its owner is proud that he's kept it in what he calls good condition for all these years, and he is perfectly satisfied with it. One day, as he was driving down one of the main streets of his town, his car was stopped by a parade. There were bands and crowds and flags and streamers. Most interesting of all, some important personage was being escorted to the stadium. Who should it turn out to be? But the ambassador from Celestia on an official visit. The owner little realized the effect of the occasion on his faithful Chevy until they reached home. Just as he was about to turn off the ignition, the owner was startled out of a year's growth as the Chevy began to speak. "Just a minute," it said. "I've been thinking it over since we watched that parade this afternoon. I don't want to be an old Chevrolet any longer. I want to be a brand new Cadillac." "What in the world has come over you?" gasped the owner. "I don't know. It's just that when I saw that sleek, shiny car carrying that ambassador up Main Street, I just got an uncontrollable urge to be a new Cadillac. I want to carry important people around, too." "This pile must be overheated," muttered the owner as he pulled the key and went into the house, hoping a good night's sleep would straighten out the matter. Right now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, what kind of nonsense is this? Before you judge too harshly, let me tell you about a verse in the Bible. It says that if any man is a Christian, he has become a new creation. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. I'd simply like to ask the question, what is meant by a Christian being a new creature? And how can anybody become new? Well, just for our story, let's imagine that we're all old automobiles. Some of us look like proud old Packards still trying to run like new. And some like rebuilt 1920 Buicks, tired and worn by the years. And others like various rusted-out wrecks, struggling on against the bumps and jolts of our life. The question is, how can these beat-up old cars be made over into brand new models? Well, back to our allegory. Next morning, the owner found to his dismay that the old Chevy had not forgotten its strange ambition. On the contrary, things seemed to have crystallized. "I've decided," it announced, "what you and I have to do. You take me down to the garage. They have a new finishing process that they use on Cadillacs. Give me a shine like a Cadillac. Then I've decided I smell too much of alcohol. Have me drained and flushed out and filled up with Prestone. Who ever heard of a Cadillac smelling of alcohol? Then I want a ring job that will get rid of my bad habit of smoking. Did you notice any smoke coming out of that Cadillac's exhaust? Of course not. The owner balked, but finally gave in and had all 3 jobs done at the local garage. The Chevy's improvement was dramatic. "Look at me," it crowed. "Boy, do I shine like a Cadillac. I look clean, I feel clean, I don't smell of alcohol, and I don't smoke. I'm sure everybody must think I'm a new Cadillac." The Chevy felt like floating along on a cloud. "Boy, do I feel great. I'm a shiny one now. This is the life. Here I am, you lucky caddies." But all the while it knew it was trying to fool everybody else and not succeeding too well. And after a short interval of exhilaration, there came a depression almost too heavy for the shock absorbers to bear. But then, one day a new idea occurred to the Chevy. Its owner had been using a downtown parking lot that charged $1 a day. Right around the corner, there was a 10-story elevator lot that charged $2.50 a day. Naturally, there were many more Cadillacs parked here. "Let's go to the Cadillac parking lot," it suggested. And although the thrifty owner balked, he eventually gave in again. And for the next few weeks, that is where they went. It seemed to work, too. Just being among so many Cadillacs seemed to affect the Chevy. "This environment is what I need," it said. "These caddies are already accepting me as one of them." But the beautiful dream crashed to earth one day when a child stepped out of the elevator and exclaimed, "Look at that old Chevy parked up here with all those nice Cadillacs." From that moment on, the Chevy wanted no part of the expensive lot. A short time later, however, it perpetrated another piece of strategy. It being time to renew licenses, the Chevy got its owner to falsify registration papers and have it listed on the rolls of the state as a Cadillac. But sadly, it realized that even this did not help. Then one day, a clever Mercedes drove up alongside as the Chevy was parked. "What's the matter, little one?" it inquired. "You look just miserable." It didn't take the Chevy long to unburden itself. "You certainly came to the right place for guidance," gushed the Mercedes. "I can help you. You need, first of all, to think right thoughts. Since you want to be a Cadillac, you must think Cadillac thoughts. Whenever a Chevrolet thought comes into your radiator, you must repeat slowly, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, I am becoming more and more like a brand new Cadillac. It seemed so easy that for 2 weeks, the little Chevy tried it religiously. I'm becoming like a caddy. I'm becoming like a caddy. I'm becoming like a caddy. But finally, its rattles and squeaks proved too much to overcome. And it knew, in fact, it was still the same old Chevy. Next morning, the owner found his car more disturbed than ever. "It's hopeless," moaned the Chevy. "I'll never be a Cadillac this way." "Do you think if you took me to the head man of General Motors, he could help? After all, he makes all the Chevys and all the Cadillacs, and if there's anyone that can do anything, it's him." Before long, they found themselves approaching the main entrance of the General Motors building. As they stopped, to their surprise, they saw the head man himself approaching them. "What can I do for you?" he asked. And the 1939 Chevy told all that was on its heart. When it had finished, it was amazed and overjoyed to hear the words, "Why, yes, we'll be glad to do that for you. But," warned the head man, "you'll have to give up everything, for we don't use old Chevy parts in a new Cadillac." Then the head man invited the owner to step out and put one of his own men behind the wheel. The new driver took the excited little car out to the edge of town, then down under. "If any man will come after me, Let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. This ends my allegory. I can't explain to you what the headman did to change that disreputable, worthless old Chevy into a beautiful new Cadillac. But I can tell you that under General Motors' meticulous cost control, the expense of this miracle had to be charged to somebody's account. In this case, it was charged to the headman himself.
Honey, that was a great idea you had.
What idea, Frank?
All of us going skiing for my birthday.
Well, honey, since you and another great man, George Washington, have the same birthday, I thought we'd really celebrate.
Well, just make sure that George doesn't get my presents. Did you get some good shots, Bobby?
Just practicing, Dad. There's no film in the camera. I ran out last night. You mean you didn't have any film in the camera and you took those pictures of me?
Children, no fighting. We'll stop someplace and get some film.
Okay, gang, you have exactly 11 minutes to get your shopping done.
Candy.
Dad, got the film.
And the film. Pantyhose. Gum. And the cigars.
Okay, Bobby, get in the car. We only have a half an hour more to go. Oh, honey, it's terrific.
I was so nervous renting it just from a photograph.
Mommy, that man had film in his camera. Not like somebody I know.
Come on, let's take a look.
Oh, Mommy, it's beautiful!
Hey, Dad, look at this fireplace.
Oh, Frank, it's so much nicer than I expected.
Well, I think we'll stay.
Mommy, can we have a cookout in the fireplace tonight?
Okay. But, Frank, I didn't bring any food. We'll have to do some shopping.
Well, we better get going then.
Mommy, Rebecca, who does this look like?
Okay, everybody in the car.
Frank, why don't you do the marketing while the children and I take a walk?
Sure. What should I get?
Just a few things for dinner tonight and breakfast tomorrow. We're eating out tomorrow night for your birthday, so don't get too much.
Okay.
Frank, restrain yourself.
Here's a marshmallow, Daddy.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. Here, honey, you take it. I don't want anything to interfere with the taste of this cigar.
America is a nation of consumers. Like Frank and Emily and their children, all of us expect to find the things we want and need at our fingertips. But making merchandise available to consumers means making it readily available to the nation's 1,700,000 retail stores. And that's the business of the consumer goods distribution industry. This is the headquarters of Burton Tobacco Distributors, a composite of more than 2,000 tobacco wholesalers throughout the country. Some with hundreds of employees, others with just a few. Fred Burton is typical of the kind of men who have built and run their own organization.
My father started this business mainly selling cigars and tobacco. He had a wagon and 2 horses. He used to say that he was the second horse. Well, this business has supported and educated our family ever since.
Fred Burton is representative of tobacco wholesalers across the nation who distribute more than $14 billion worth of consumer goods to the nation's retailers. In so doing, they are a vital part of the American economy. Prompt delivery of orders by 5 trucks within 24 to 48 hours is a must at Burton Distributors. In fact, their motto, like that of the post office, is neither snow nor sleet nor rain nor traffic jams shall stay Burton Distributors from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. A tobacco distributor carries a wide variety of products: candy, razor blades, chewing gum, pens, film, lighters, snack foods. Literally thousands of items that consumers purchase regularly and frequently. But the basis of a tobacco distributor's business are his tobacco products: cigarettes, tobacco, and cigars.
Cigars, more than any other product we carry, demonstrate the unique services of a tobacco distributor. For not only do we make cigars available to a wide variety of retailers, but we provide help to the retailers in merchandising cigars so that they can better serve their customers. You know, behind every cigar in this warehouse, and there are hundreds of thousands of them, is at least a 3-year story of careful farming, patient curing of tobacco, and expert manufacturing.
Tobacco is very much a part of American history. It sustained the Jamestown colony in 1612, and it helped finance the American Revolution. If you can't send money, George Washington told the Continental Congress, send tobacco. At the start of the growing season, seedlings are placed into well-prepared fields. These tiny plants have been nurtured from seeds developed over generations. In some areas, this transplanting is still done by hand. Tobacco that is used for the wrapper of the cigar, the delicate outer leaf, is often grown under tents of cloth to shade it from the direct rays of the sun. Thus the name shade-grown tobacco. Fine cigar tobacco is grown in many places. Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Florida, the Dominican Republic, the Cameroons, Brazil, Cuba, Honduras, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, Nicaragua, Colombia, and Sumatra. But wherever grown, it requires care and attention. Cigar wrapper tobacco is harvested leaf by leaf, generally 3 leaves at each picking. This is because the leaves from each section of the plant must be picked only when they have reached their prime, at the peak of their growing perfection. Once harvested, the tobacco is hung in sheds, where the long curing process begins. Here the leaves will slowly dry and turn in color from green to the rich tones of brown much desired by cigar smokers. About 6 weeks later, the leaves will be taken down, sorted, and packed away for as much as 2 years of further curing and aging, during which time the tobacco will become mellow and flavorful. Some cigars are made by hand, a skill that takes years to perfect. Filler tobacco is rolled into the binder leaf. This is called the bunch. The wrapper is then trimmed to its proper shape, and the bunch to its proper length. Then the wrapper is spirally rolled around the bunch to make the finished cigar. Whether handmade or made on machines, the filler, binder, and wrapper must be especially selected so that they will blend together to yield the desired taste. On these machines that make long filler cigars, 2 operators working as a team duplicate the hand-making process. The filler, fed by 1 operator, is wrapped into the binder to make the bunch. The bunch is then moved from station to station by mechanical fingers. The second operator carefully places and stretches the wrapper leaf onto a die, where it is exactly trimmed, then picked up and spirally rolled around the bunch to make a perfectly formed cigar. The operator's skill guarantees the quality of the product. Even the most adept can only make about 12 long filler cigars a minute. As a result of the process by which leaf tobacco is converted into sheet form, the bunches for some cigars with short filler are now made at higher speeds, up to 1,000 a minute on machines like this. Automated bunch making has helped the industry provide cigars of good quality at very reasonable prices. Rolling natural wrappers onto these bunches, however, is still at the rate of only about 16 a minute. Frequent inspection ensures quality control. From planting to banding, cellophaning, and packaging, it takes some 3 years to make a cigar. And everyone involved, growers, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers, want the smoker to enjoy a well-made, good-tasting product. Cigars, like people, come in many different shapes and sizes. There are different blends, different prices, different styles. In almost no other product does the consumer have so wide a choice. Full-bodied cigars such as the Perfecto and Corona. Panatella-style cigars with a debonair look. Small cigars and small-tip cigars that convey a casual, spirited air.
You know, there are some 10 million cigar smokers, and sometimes I think that every one of them wants an individual cigar all his own. So knowing what cigars to recommend to retailers is an important part of the job of our sales personnel. Our salespeople help set up and arrange attractive displays because they know that means increased sales. But sometimes we see stores like one of Ralph Clark's 8 drugstores that need our help. They should be our customers, but they aren't. Then we really go to work. You know, Ralph, we did a pretty thorough survey of your 8 stores. Here are some photographs of what we saw.
I don't even want to look. It'll spoil my lunch.
Well, maybe you'll enjoy your dinner after you've seen this test cigar department Charlie has installed.
Hello, Mr. Clark. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I can see you've been busy, Charlie. Yeah, it looks different.
It's the way we think you ought to organize your cigar department.
Yes, well, it's beautiful, Charlie, but frankly, I haven't thought about keeping that much merchandise. Do we really need all this?
Oh, Ralph. Ralph, look at it this way. If a cigar smoker regularly buys cigars from you, well, he'll buy other merchandise from you. But if you don't have the cigars he wants, well, he'll find them elsewhere. And he'll find his other needs elsewhere, too. Ralph, a cigar smoker is not just a regular guy. He's a regular customer.
Fred, my clerks are busy people. They probably wouldn't have time to price the cigars, keep the displays neat, and rotate the stock.
I'll help them, Mr. Clark. I'll be in your stores every week. Take the inventory, write up the order, and keep an eye on things.
Well, if it's worth that much to you fellows, maybe it's worth that much to me. Okay. Got yourself quite a salesman there, Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Developing a sales force that can get the job done is no accident. Burton holds regular meetings with his salespeople to review product lines, promotions, merchandising techniques, and to exchange experiences.
And he did. Well, you tell them the rest, Charlie.
Well, the happy ending of the story is this. Mr. Clark bought a cigar merchandising service and 6 other product lines as well. And if all goes well, we ought to do about $100,000 of business with Clark Drugs this year.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. You did a fine job. Now, let me say this. Maybe I've said it 1,000 times before, but I'm going to say it again. If a man buys cigars from you, he'll buy other merchandise from you as well. Right? Okay, any questions?
I have one. Is Ralph Clark Charlie's father-in-law?
No, but he does have a very pretty daughter, Charlie.
Mr. Burton, I have one more question. Who won last week's sales contest?
I know why you're asking that, Jim. You won for candy placements.
Really?
And Charlie here is #1 for cigars.
Hey.
Okay, fellas, stand up and take a bow.
Come on, Jim.
Okay, meeting's over. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Good night, Mr. Burton.
Hello? Well, sure, I'll talk to him. It's Arthur Carroll of Carroll Stationery. Hello, Arthur. What can I do for you?
Fred, do you have any It's a Boy cigars?
Well, sure we do.
Well, I need a box tonight for a very good customer. Can you get it over to me, huh?
Oh, you know, Arthur, it's Friday, 5 o'clock.
Now, don't exaggerate, Fred. It's 10 to.
You know, this wouldn't happen, Arthur, if you just let Jim check your inventory.
Well, now, how was I to know there were going to be 2 boys born in my neighborhood this week?
Well, let Jim check your stock, Arthur. He knows everything about that neighborhood. He even knows when those babies are conceived.
You're right. You're right. Tell Jim next week we'll work something out.
Well, Jim will be bringing you the cigars, so why don't you tell him yourself, Arthur? Yeah. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks, Mr. Burton. Oh, I don't mind doing it. Especially since it's not even on my way home.
Oh, Jim, remember.
I know, Mr. Burton, I know. If a man buys cigars from you, he'll also buy other merchandise from you. Right?
May I help you?
It's my husband's birthday. He's a cigar smoker, and we'd like to get him something special.
Well, let me show you some of our cigars. In this humidor, we have a collection of the world's finest cigars.
What's a humidor? Rebecca, it's a place where they keep cigars so they don't dry out.
You have the idea, son.
It's a good thing my father didn't find this place. He would have spent all day here.
Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to me.
Hey!
Open this one first, Dad. It's for immediate use.
Now, what do you suppose could be in here? Now, how did you all know that I like cigars? Beautiful, just beautiful.
The cigar, a product of pleasure for millions. A symbol of the unique services of the 2,000 tobacco wholesalers of America, who distribute cigars and thousands of other products to retail stores everywhere, so that you can find the products you want, whenever you want them, wherever you want them, at your fingertips.
Morning, friend. Mind if I join you?
Not at all. My name's Vinny, and I've been pretty much by myself for quite a while now.
Well, my name's Ringo Binder, but my friends all call me RB. It looks like I'll be here from now on, if you don't mind.
Glad to have you. That's sure a fine suit you're wearing. What's it made of?
Thanks. Glad you like it. It's brand new. They call it
Echo High.
I hear these courses are the latest thing.
Sure, like
Echo High.
The first exercise is push-ups. Shall we give it a shot?
Why not? A little exercise can only help. That was great. I can just feel myself getting healthier. Let's try the next one. This isn't one of my strong points. Sometimes I have to reinforce my hinges to get extra support.
Gee, that's too bad. I'm constructed so that the more times I flex my hinges, the stronger I get. Wearing those reinforcements must be uncomfortable.
My job doesn't always require a lot of hinge flexes. I guess you could say I'm lucky my job doesn't hinge on it. Rats! There's a crack starting.
Gosh, Vinny, I can see that this is an exercise that you should avoid if you can. I thought for a moment you were going to split a seam.
Well, that happens sometimes. But never mind, there are other exercises. What's the next one?
Toe touches. This one should be simple.
Uh-oh. I've never been good at this at all. I'm too stiff.
Aw, come on, let's give it a try. Maybe it'll loosen us up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Whew. Well, that wasn't so bad.
I don't know, but here goes. I'm stuck.
Here, let me help you.
Oh, wow. I'd hate to do that again.
I'll bet. Gee, that's a nasty-looking crease you've got there.
Oh, rats. I was warned about that. I hear once you get the bends, they stay with you.
That's awful, Vinny. But come on, let's see what's next.
This exercise always worries me a bit. My corners aren't constructed to take a fall.
But why should that worry you on this exercise?
Because I have a tendency to trip.
Are you okay?
You know, I don't think this is the way to get the jump on the competition. What's next?
The obstacle course. That should be fun.
That depends on your point of view. Confound it! I don't know why I ever let you talk me into going on this silly course.
Me? I guess that wasn't the fun we thought it would be.
No, it certainly was not. And now I look a mess.
So do I. But we can wipe off this dust and mud, and then we'll look just fine again.
Well, anybody can look good if they spend a lot on clothes. You must spend a fortune.
I almost hate to tell you this, Vinny, but I spend no more than you do. Hey, watch out!
Look at this greasy mess. But you certainly got the worst of it.
Don't worry. It'll all wash clean. Why don't we head for the showers to cool off? A little soap and water is all that's needed to clean.
Alcohol!
Come on, it feels great.
Somehow, I doubt it.
La 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 la. Oops, I dropped the soap. La 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 la.
Ooh. We. How long do you plan to stay in there?
I could stay in here all day. Soap and water are my best friends. Hot water or cold water. La 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 la.
La la humbug. You'd better watch out.
No need to worry. Strong cleaners won't hurt me in the least. There.
R.B., you sure are lucky not to have my allergies.
What allergies?
Grease and dirt and water, splitting and bending. R.B., just what is your secret?
Well, Vinny, since I'm pre-constructed, I have nothing to snag on, so I don't have to worry about water. And the polyethylene in my cover can take the strongest cleaners. You know, Vinny, I guess my secret is...
Alcohide!
Let me show you a part of our Alcohide training film. The secret of Alcohide is the incredible new polyethylene material from which it is made. Alcohide is one solid piece of polyethylene plus the ring metal. Your cover is 3 pieces of chipboard sealed between 2 pieces of vinyl. Polyethylene resists water, as well as grease, oil, and heat and cold.
Now I get the picture. You should have been running with my heavyweight cousins.
Thanks for the compliment. But where does that leave my heavyweight cousins? And for that matter, my light-duty cousins, too. There's a whole team of us.
Alcohide!
Ring binders. And some are even tougher than me. Look, there's our new Acco Easy Lifter.
You may be proud of your team, but a binder is still a binder.
Come on, Vinny. You've been around too long to believe that.
Pretty impressive. Look at all those custom features.
Thanks. The guys will be glad to hear that. In fact, I think they did.
Hi there.
Here they come from practice now. We have a complete team, all the way from the heavy-duty varsity to the completely flexible school weights.
You know, R.B., I've been around a long time, and I've done the best with what I've got. But now I can see that you have something better. What can I do to join the Acco team?
Maybe we could work it out if you could say that special word.
I think I know what you mean. But do you think it will do that? You know when I say it.
I don't see why not. Be my guest.
Acco high.
Hey, look at Vinny. He's one of us.
Hey, Vinny. Hey, he's one of the team.
Hey, Vinny. Hey, congratulations, Vinny.
This is for Vinny.